This is Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook. Today, we want to discuss these two ladies, Jeniffer Appel and Natasha Fuiava. And here they are at the USS Ashland. They've obviously washed and cleaned up. They were apparently lost at sea for 5 months. Okay, they departed Oahu on May 3rd, and they were going to Tahiti, and their boat had a slew of problems, allegedly. Apparently, when they left, the first night they went into a huge Force 11 storm for 3 days off of Oahu. Okay, and it broke their spreader, and a spreader. This is a sailboat, and the sailboat. There's 2 spreaders for the sails, probably three spreaders. So one of the 3 spreaders was broken, and they made a big deal out of this, and they said, well, now we can only sail 4 to 5 knots. Nevertheless, they made it to Kiribati. Okay, they were planning to go from Hawaii to Tahiti. Okay, and from Hawaii to Kiribati is 1,337 miles. Okay, that's a long sail. And so they were almost there. They made it to Kiribati, which is there's 5,000 islands there. At Kiribati, they said they couldn't enter the atoll. Okay, these islands are receded volcanoes, so it's basically a circle. So in the middle of the ocean's very deep out there in the Pacific. In the middle of the ocean, these islands are basically volcanic islands, and so it's a circle, and there's always an entrance. And so I know this, the boats enter... You enter the atoll during high tide, and it's extremely protected anchorage. You just drop your anchor once you get in, and you enter and exit the atolls during high tide. So they made this excuse, well, we couldn't get into the atoll, which doesn't make sense. So anyway, I have several questions. Okay, so anyone making this journey of 1,337 miles to these island chains, and a lot of sailors do this. What percentage of them is going to have something break? Is going to need repairs of small or great items? What percentage of them? 100%. Okay, so how unusual is it that a metal bracket, a spreader, broke on their sailing vessel, and they were still able to sail at 5 knots. You sail on a good day, fair winds and following seas, you sail at 7 knots. I've done a little bit of sailing. Anyway, these pictures are after they've been apparently lost at sea for 5 months. Look at how strong this one is. This is the other woman. She's about 145, 150 pounds. She's about 250 pounds. Look at the neck on her. And I'm not fat shaming anybody. I'm just saying I'm 150 pounds. And if you're lost for 5 months at sea and you're afraid you're going to die in 24 hours, how is it that she's still about 250 and she's about 150, and they just look right as rain? And look at these dogs. Look at the thickness of the neck. These dogs don't look to be in distress. No one there looks to be in distress. So I'm going to do They said their engine failed. Okay, so 10 clubs is the card of overseas travel. Okay, 10 clubs is a great overseas travel card. I'm also going to pull a Queen of Hearts. And we'll do a couple of spreads. I kind of want to know what's going on. Okay, so we're going to do this a bit like we did the guy who's molesting everybody. So they also said their engine failed. Okay, so they had this minor spreader break, which you could just fix with wire. You should have a full tool set on there. I've actually considered this lifestyle. The engine flooded. Okay, so you're on the open ocean. You mean water got into your engine? Yeah, that happens. So anyway, a lot of blue water cruisers are questioning their story. Like, I mean, come on. And so anyway, their goal was to get to Tahiti, okay, and they made it to Kiribati. And they didn't make it to Tahiti. They didn't go into Kiribati, and then they ended up somewhere about 900 miles from Japan, where they were finally rescued. They had an emergency. Their electricity worked the entire time. They had a sat phone. They had an emergency beacon. If they had turned on their emergency beacon, why didn't they steer the boat? Why didn't they go to any of these other 3,000 islands? Here's American Samoa. That's America. They passed right past Hawaii again and didn't stop. Why didn't they fix their boat in any of these places? So I guess the first question I want to ask over here is, was their boat really completely inoperable, as they say? Okay, and their rudder wasn't broken, and it's a sailboat, and they still had at least 2 sails, and they made excuses about that. So was the boat, what was the condition of the boat? I'm upside down here. I like to draw from the middle. We'll just leave that upside down. These are pretty bad cards here. Let's see how we can see that. Okay, what was the condition of the boat? Because this is kind of looking to me like a kidnapping. I mean, the Polynesian lady, Natasha Fuiava, this lady had never sailed a day in her life. Okay, so she was entirely trusting this lady who spent 2.5 years fixing and repairing this boat. So literally this lady should know everything there is to know about this boat. So what is the condition of the boat here? Okay, high tower. We read the middle first. No. So completely inoperable. Officially completely inoperable. Okay, the past. We've got Scapegoat and Star of Bethlehem. Out on the blue water, and the Star of Bethlehem, they followed the star to the Christ, to the Christ child. So, but the Scapegoat came out upside down. I usually don't read reversed, but it came out upside down. So the Scapegoat is going outside the camp. The high priest lays his hand on the scapegoat and puts it outside of the camp. So this is going outside of the camp, but it's reversed. And this is a long journey. Okay, the wise men, the Magi, this is the Magi deck, they took a long journey to find the Christ child. So sort of this is outside. So meandering, pointless, long journey. Okay, this is a boat that's inoperable, and it's a long journey. 5 months lost at sea. All they had to do is use the sat phone. All their electricity was working. Therefore, you can dial up the Coast Guard and say, "Hey, we need a little help." Okay, why didn't they do that? Okay, fox, broken chalice. See, the fox is very clever. The fox is very clever, and everything's broken. So literally, this blonde lady, she knew everything about the boat. This lady, she was her lover, and she knew nothing about the boat. So she was trusting her life to this lady. So this fox, the blonde lady, okay, can say, you know, it's broken, I can't fix it. This, honestly, it just feels like a kidnapping to me. Like, I'm just going to get you all the way out there and, you know, I don't know. I want to see, okay, the other thing I want to see is you know, is this whole thing a publicity stunt? Okay, is this like a publicity stunt? Is this for real? So, I mean, the boat was damaged. We can tell from these cards the boat was damaged. I don't believe it was inoperable. I've fixed lots of things. I fixed up a house, bought a house, fixed up a house. It's not that complicated, and I personally really like to do it. I watched these sailing videos, and I immediately thought, how could that happen? And a lot of people are coming out saying, well, gosh, that doesn't make sense. So one of the first thing they said is they got into a Force 11 storm the day they sailed out of Hawaii. Okay, who would sail into a Force 11 storm? I mean, an Uber driver might, but a sailor would not sail into a 50 to 70 mile per hour storm. Secondly, the other sailors, they checked. They're like, well, was there a storm off of Oahu, you know, of any strength for those 3 days? And the answer is no. There's no storm recorded there. So is this all like a big deception? That's kind of what I want to know. So I'm going to be looking for deception cards. Wow. Okay, I'm not seeing much deception here. For deception, I'm going to want to see fox, devil, 10 spades, snake. We have the fox over on this side. Okay, we have the fox here. Okay, which can also just be a single woman. Okay, but here, so, you know, is this a deception? Okay, is this, you know, is it all just like, oh, poor me, you know, damsel in distress waving a handkerchief from the tower? Okay, so let's see. Strength and ruler. So she's the captain of the boat. Okay, this blonde lady, and this is in old cartomancy systems, the Queen of Hearts is a blonde woman. So this blonde woman, she was in just complete control here. Okay, she's master of the boat. She's in complete control, and this other lady, Natasha Fuiava, an actual Hawaiian, didn't know anything about sailing, had never sailed. Okay, so the blonde lady's in complete control. She's captain of that ship, and she knows everything. Olive Tree and Home, they're a couple. Okay, Home is close friends and family. They look to me like, I mean, I don't want to assume anything, but they're gay lovers. So, let's just ask, are they gay lovers? I mean, they look like gay lovers to me. There's, you know, I'm not making any judgments, but are they, let's just ask, are they gay lovers? Let's see what we get. Gay lovers. Well, that's a yes. Okay, I asked, are they gay lovers? I got the sun. That's yes. Yes, they are. So anyway, they're not just friends. They're like a family. Okay, these are two family cards. They're gay lovers. They're family. Okay, deeply rooted family. They're a couple. They're together. So the captain of the ship is in charge. She knows everything. The other one knows nothing. They're a family. Okay. Here in the outcome, we have straight razor mustard seed. These are both aces are new. They're both black aces, so kind of negative cut, and they just this is like no knowledge. Okay, they were just, gosh, clueless. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't see a lot of deception here. I'm actually really surprised by this. I was certain that I was going to see a lot of deception. I was certain that this is all just a publicity stunt. I'm like, who in the world would go out on the open ocean and not know what they're doing? So I watched these sailors like Delos, okay, and not to advertise them or anything, but I was just watching them yesterday, and they're out in the Indian Ocean. They were just in India. They sailed down Mexico. They did this same route. They sailed from Mexico. To these little islands, and I watched them do all of that. They sailed over to Australia, New Zealand, and then they sailed across to Asia, and now they're in Africa. They're in South Africa. They're rough sailors. Okay, they go to very remote places, and they have more courage than I would. And so right now they're in South Africa. They were just in Cape Town, and now they just went up into Namibia, and I was just watching a video of them in Namibia. So, I mean, stuff breaks all the time, and you see them fix it, and you just have to take care of yourself. You have to be able to take care of yourself. But there was a time they were in India, and the boys, India is very bureaucratic, so they had to go get official documents stamped. You're always getting official documents stamped in India. So the boys went off to get official documents stamped, and the 3 or 4 girls that were there, so 3 guys went off to get the documents stamped and have a beer in town, and the girls stayed on the boat, and they were going to like have a fun day and just relax on the boat and do their nails and whatever. Well, right after the boys left, the power went off because they were running everything all at once, and the power went off. And so for 13 hours, the girls were just in darkness and nothing worked. Okay. And by the way, these 2 ladies, their power still worked. So everything worked. They had water purifier. They had lots of food. The sat phone worked. The EPIRB worked. Everything worked. Anyway, so the guys came back late at night after 13 hours, and they're like, what's going on? The boat's dark, and they couldn't talk to them on the phone because nothing worked. And the boys come back, and they flick the breaker, like click, and everything comes on, and everybody laughs. But literally, the girls just sat there for 13 hours in total darkness, you know, waiting for the men to come and save them, which was just crazy. I mean, just crazy, because those ladies were experienced sailors. I don't see how that's possible. But anyway, so what happened? I mean, I, like everyone else, I'm interested in that life. I've done some sailing. I was thinking about buying a boat. I can do it. I can go and circumnavigate if I want. I'm not doing it. I'm doing other things. For instance, I've got this book. But anyway, so was the boat, okay, I asked 2 questions. Was the boat totally, like, gone? Gone, baby, gone. Was the boat completely gone? Okay, it had completely stopped functioning, according to them. And this literally says, stop functioning. Okay, no, and Hightower, the machine stopped working. Okay, the Fox, it was really all up to the blonde lady. She said it's broken, and the other lady just simply didn't know anything about it and didn't bother to figure it out. I mean, she had 5 months. I mean, I could have took the whole thing apart and put it all back together in about 1/100th of that time. So Scapegoat, Star Bethlehem, this is just floundering out on the open sea and just going nowhere. They even had a rudder. I mean, you could just point the boat and steer it even without sails. And They had the ability to sail. They still had other sails. Why didn't they fix it? Why didn't they stop like every other sailor in frickin' history at any of these islands and fix it? Because 101% of sailors have something that needs to be fixed on their boat. And they all fix it. They get to these tiny little islands and you can drop ship it. The other sailors, you know, whatever's wrong with your boat, you can fix it out there. And they do. So it is a mystery that these two ladies were the only sailors in history who were unable, who didn't fix their boat. I still am shocked. So here on this side, I was certain that it was going to show that massive deception, that the blonde lady was actually kidnapping the other lady, or it was just a big, that this blonde lady was kidnapping her partner. It's not enough that they're in the middle of the ocean with no one around. She needs to just really take her out, and it's going to be some kind of weird death thing. So was there any deception? Okay, the blonde lady, strength ruler, she's just completely in charge, and there's just no question about it. She's master of the boat. She's completely in charge. The ruler is completely in charge, and her grip was undeniable. She was the only one who knew anything about that boat. I personally would not get on a boat without knowing anything about it and trust someone else to do it. And even if I did, I would figure it out. Okay, I fixed everything on a car. I fixed everything in my house and sold it for full price. Anyway, Olive Tree home, they were lovers. I asked, were they lovers? Damn right. So they're like a family. Okay, this is a family thing. This is dad and this is mom. So, and these aces just indicate no knowledge. Mustard seed, straight razor, no knowledge. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. So no deception, just absolute staggering incompetence. Incredible. So according to them, the boat really was broken, and that's what the show cards show. The boat really was broken. Okay, and it's not over here. There's no deception. It's just the blonde lady knew everything, and the other lady, I don't know, she was doing her nails or something and petting the dogs. She didn't know anything, and her life depended on it, and she still didn't know anything. Just incredible. Anyway, they really were lost at sea for 5 months. It's legit and no deception. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination and Fortune Telling, The Magi Method. You can find the book worldwide on Kindle, in Kindle and paperback versions. You can find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. You can join us on Facebook.